Hey there my dudes, I'm Letty and welcome to another video. If you wondered what that was how I fix my hair in the morning, because my hair is very long and it probably needs a cut. Anyway, I am making this video and it is going to be a quick video because I have so much stuff to do this week, and that's why I wanted to apologise, just to say sorry for not posting all weekend. I know I usually post a few videos on the weekend and quite a few throughout the week, but I have had the most hectic week. I've got assignments to do all week. Anyway, we should probably get on to the subject at hand that we are speaking about, and that subject is gender expression versus gender identity, or the other way around. Because in the last video I made called Gender is Not a Social Construct, I saw a lot of comments saying, yo laddie, dude, you're not getting the whole picture. There are social parts of gender and there are also biological parts of gender, man. Like, yo dude, I'll put them up here on the screen. I don't want to do too much editing obviously, but I'll just slap them up. I'll just slap them up because I love you guys. But all I'm going to say is that there is definitely a difference between the two. So in that video I was saying gender is not a social construct, because me personally, I think, and I know because of biology, that gender isn't a social construct. However, when you come to think about it, there are kind of two parts of gender. So if we say that gender, we've looked at the definition of gender many times before, but if we say that gender itself has two categories, or maybe there's a few more, but in this case we're speaking about two categories. There's gender and there's gender identity and gender expression. I think that the only part of gender is really gender identity, and gender expression doesn't have really anything to do with it. It's just how you dress, whatever, you know. And people were saying, yo, gender does have components that are a social construct. And I was thinking, well, I don't necessarily think so. Gender itself is because of biology, how you feel in your brain. But then that is the gender identity. So I have, where is my phone? I have a few different definitions here of both gender identity and gender expression. So let me just go into first. A lot of people were saying, yo, I don't think gender's not a social construct. I think gender is a social construct in certain aspects. So to those people, I'm just going to read out what the sort of definition of a social construct actually is. And I am just going to go into here. Okay. In the domain of social construction thought, in the domain of social constructionist thought, a social construct is an idea or notion that appears to be natural and obvious to people who accept it, but may or may not represent reality, so it remains largely an invention or artifice of the given society. The meaning given to games is therefore socially constructed. So, that is pretty much saying that social construct means that it is something that is not natural. It is something that is may not represent reality. It remains largely an invention of given society. However, gender identity is natural. It is not a invention to give, or invention or artifice given by society, because gender, and how I see it, gender just being gender identity, is in the biology of the brain, as I explained last video. We won't go into it now. If you want to do that, there's an iCard up here that you can look at. So now that part is over with the social construct part. Gender identity itself, if we have a look at, so gender identity, a person's perception of having a particular gender which may or may not correspond with their birth sex. So gender identity, it may not correspond with your birth sex because it is in the brain. Your body, whatever you have in your body, whatever chromosomes, it can be different to what you feel in your brain in the gender identity part of it. And therefore that is natural, even though some people may not say it's natural. It's happened in nature. Evolution has caused this to happen. It's biological, even though it probably isn't the most effective method of making humans, but it's happened. That's who we are. And so now we go into the difference between what I think people were saying, the social part of it. It's gender expression. and gender expression being with social construction are kind of linked, right? So gender expression, the way in which a person expresses their gender identity, typically through their appearance, dress and behaviour. For example, they embrace a range of masculine and feminine gender expressions. So gender expression is how you express yourself to portray your gender, I guess. Yeah, so how they express their gender. However, I don't like the word gender expression because it's so linked with society's way of gender expression. So what I'm going to go into first is, without rambling, because I don't really want to edit this too much, I am on such a time frame, gender expression and social construct. People say that gender expression is a social construct. For example, girls being what people call feminine and men being what people call masculine. That is how you express yourself. And there's obviously androgynous and all this kind of stuff that is this social construct that men, masculine, women, feminine, clothes, dresses, all this kind of stuff, how that works. But gender expression can be separate from social construct. So there is the social construct of gender expression, and there is gender expression. So that may sound like absolute nonsense, but let me attempt to explain it a little bit. So, the social construct of gender, as I spoke about before, is girls wearing dresses and the stereotype of girls wearing dresses, and if you kind of wear androgynous or more masculine wear and you're a woman, that may say that you're, that may go against your femininity and stuff like that. And with men, the social construct of gender expression is that they wear, the men clothes, trousers and shirts and whatever the stereotype is for them. However, gender expression itself, if you're thinking about how someone expresses themselves, it can be totally different. So giving an example of me, right, my gender expression, I shop in men's shops, and men's clothing shops are socially constructed. Most men's clothing shops have the social construct of the gender expression of men, right? Because they've got the men's clothes shop, for example, New Look Men's, they'll have men's trousers, they'll have, men's shirts, they'll have this kind of stuff, whatever they see as being men's. So, for example, this I bought from a men's shop, this I bought from the men's section in Primark, these trackies I bought from a men's section, and that's what people or society sees men as wearing. So technically, my gender expression is part of the social construct, and people get taught this from birth. But gender expression doesn't have to be anything to do with the social construct of how to portray gender. So, for example, me and my bae AJ, we may identify ourselves as male. Our gender identity is male, and that's nothing changing that, that's just how we identify. But our gender expression may be more feminine. So, for example, I'd probably wear makeup once I went through my transition, even though that's seen as a feminine way, the gender expression for females, that's what it's seen as in social construct of it. I hope you guys don't think I'm just rambling. I hope any of this is getting through to you guys. But yeah, in my case, I feel like I can be masculine, but I'm somewhat a feminine person. And people will give different portrayals of expression. So gender expression, I guess there's also sexuality expression. That's probably a thing that's related to it. So how you express your gender, if you're more feminine and you're a man, they'll probably think that your sexuality is homosexual. In that kind of stuff, I guess that's a social construct, because society's constructed that stereotype. So social constructs are really society's stereotypes and what society thinks should be this way, or what's been created by society to be this way. I guess I don't even know. I need to stop rambling in every video I do. But if you guys get in a summary, gender identity is biological, and that's what I see gender as, right? Gender and gender identity the same thing, you know. They're in the brain. Your gender is in your brain. Your sex is of your body. That is maybe my definition, but I know gender identity itself is the biological part, okay? So maybe I could say gender identity is not a social construct rather than other things. But if you see gender as two different parts, the gender identity and the gender expression, then maybe that makes sense that there are societal parts to gender. So the gender expression itself, like for example, I'd probably go out in drag, and that is really not a gender expression that you would expect someone who identifies as male to do, because I mean the gender expression expected is to be hyper, you know, to be masculine or whatever, but that's just, you know, expectations of gender expression. And honestly, that could be a whole other video, but I don't think that's something I want to go into, because I'd probably like rip my hair out by the, oh, there's a motorbike going on outside. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video while we listen to the motorbike outside rev away. Please like, comment and subscribe. Ask any more questions that you have down below in the comments down below. I will see you guys in another video. Subscribble, my dudes. Yeah, okay. I will see you guys. I hope I cleared everything up. Okay, bye. Bye.